Go ahead, Pascal.
Sure. Thank you, Claudio, and thank you, Hubert, for the remarks this far. Fantastic. Over the years, I've experienced, a fair bit of what I would call purpose or values hypocrisy, right? Where the executive team and the company tends to put forward a purpose after extensive work or values and refer to them a lot, but actual behaviors and decisions and executions often don't match. So I'm curious what advice you can have for people like us when you're not the number one, right? On how to draw out essentially that dissonance and hold the company accountable to either change its purpose and values or adjust their decision making to what they purport the purpose and the values are.
Yeah, and when a gap like this exists, it's toxic, right? And you can go back to Enron. Enron had wonderful values, right? It was all about the customers and innovation and integrity. There was nothing wrong with their values, right? Their affirmed values, but the espoused values or the lived values were a little bit different. I think the first thing, Pascal, is our own leadership behaviors. Right? Because there's many things in life we don't control, but we do control our leadership behaviors. So I think a big role we have as a leader is to be a role model, to role model the desired behaviors and to coach others around us, in that direction. Now, if you observe, around you, blatant violation of the company values and the purpose. I mean, in large companies today, there's a lot of mechanisms that have been put in place to draw the attention to that. I'm sure in every one of your company, there's an employee hotline. As a board member, I would say, this is serious. Please call the anonymous employee hotline and report this, and the board will investigate if there is significant violations of the company values, because it's hard, otherwise you don't know, and things get tolerated. The other approach is to have conversations, right? That's interesting. So this is our purpose, and this is the decision we're making now. Sometimes, not everything can happen overnight. Sometimes you have to pace yourself, but having discussions and having a mechanism, so you can suggest that. So the board of J&J, Johnson & Johnson, is very famous for their credo. Right? You can look it up on their site. Regularly, there is a credo survey where the company asks every one of the employees, to what extent are we living the credo? And in previous jobs at Best Buy, but also Carlson, we would have a values day. And throughout the company, you would have conversations about, to what extent are we living our values? And have these conversations. So there's mechanisms where you can, draw the attention to that. And then, if you are being asked to do things that violate your own values, just leave. Just leave. This is a big world.
Yeah, that's lovely.